3,000. That's right, we've flipped more than 3,000 profitable houses and can teach you how to do the same thing. Click the Academy link for your free roadmap to financial freedom.
My name is Willie, and I'm from Atlanta, the gateway to Plains. And I wanted to do a quick video testimonial about Peter Vekselman's course. For about a decade, well, actually a little bit longer than that, I've been a real estate agent since actually 9/11. I was in the post license class. And I've seen a lot of people losing their shirt investing in real estate. I saw the .com bust. I saw, of course, the bust of 2008. And it really scared me seeing all these people losing their money in real estate. And I was afraid to get involved in it, but then I found Peter's course online, and it was actually probably one of the best ones out there. You know, there are a lot of gurus out there, but they just don't have any heart. And when you talk to Peter, you just know that he's a straight shooter, and you feel like you can work with him. And of course, granted, it's not for everybody. But when you work with Peter, he tells you exactly what to do. He gives you guidance. If you have a property and suppose that you want to buy it and you think, man, price is way too high to buy it, he'll say, just go on, tie it down, lock it down, and we'll deal with it after we get it sold. And then he'll show you how to get the buyers, and he'll show you how to sell it. And then after he sells it, he'll come in there and try to renegotiate the price to make a profit on it. So there's just so many ways to skin a cat, and he knows all of them. And all of his videos and marketing, I get up every morning and look at another video that comes out. I just think it's a great opportunity. It truly is a lifestyle. It's what they always say. And it's a great lifestyle. And if you work hard, do what he says, because, you know, I could be like the richest man in the world, and I could tell everybody exactly what I did, point by point, step by step. No one would do it. So you got to do what Peter says to do, and if you do it, he'll walk you hand by hand, and he'll make it a success.
Hey there, this is Peter Vekselman. So today I want to talk to you about a situation that no matter what part of this business you're in, whether you're just getting started, whether you're a more advanced investor, I know you've confronted these types of individuals. And those are the type of individuals, some of them could really, really help you a lot, and some of them can't quite help you a lot. They all want to help you, but there's just different degrees to which everyone could help you. And so what I want to talk to you about is, how do you treat these individuals? So let me give you an example of something that happened to me many, many years ago now, that to this day I remember. And that was this. This is years and years back. I went to some seminar that I got invited to, and I was just one of the many people, maybe probably a couple hundred people that was there. And part of this seminar, the guy that was putting the seminar, he was actually pitching a higher end mastermind program, a couple levels. I think one was like $15,000 mastermind program. One was kind of a lower end $5,000 mastermind program. So the guy went through his whole seminar, we probably learned some things, and then he went into his pitch mode of this mastermind, where a group of people get together over, I think back then it was a couple year period, maybe a year period, every once in a while, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a year, and you just kind of talk about your business and things like that. I remember he got done with his pitch, and he said, okay, so for those of you that want to sign up for these higher end mastermind programs, stay afterwards, I'll be available, or I'll have someone here available, and we'll get you signed up. And see, back then I was I was brand new in the business, and I wasn't really sure about a lot of things. I mean, I felt pretty good that I wanted to be in one of these masterminds, but I wanted to talk to him ahead of time. And at that point, the position I was in, I wasn't going to sign up for the higher end mastermind. I was going to sign up for the lower end mastermind. And I remember coming up to this guy and I said, listen, sounds pretty good to me. Do you mind if I talk to you for a couple minutes? And he looked at me and he said, sure, let me finish talking to everyone else here. And if you hang out here for a little bit, I'll talk to you. And so what became very apparent to me is he was there and I was in a different part of the room. Pretty much the people that he was focusing on, or the people he was talking to at that point, were people that are signing up for his higher end mastermind program. And I think it was like 3-4 times more expensive than the lower end. And when he and I talked briefly, I think he got the idea that I'm probably going to be a lower end mastermind person. And I remember standing there and watching him talk to these individuals, one by one, by one, by one. And you know, what started initially as a 2-minute or just wait here for a couple minutes, Pete, turned into almost like a 30, 40-minute wait for me, which at that point I could care less. I was kind of watching him, doing some things. And then it came a point where he was talking to the very last person. And I remember I was still across the room. He was very aware I was there, because in the midst of this, every once in a while, our kind of our paths or glazes would, we'd look at each other for a second or something like that. And I remember he got done talking to this last individual, and the individual walked out the door, and this guy looked at me square in the eye. He turned around and he left. And here I was 30, 40 minutes down the road. I was potentially looking to pay him some money. Not the kind of money those guys were paying him, but I was potentially looking to spend some money with him. And he made a judgment call at that point that whatever money I was going to spend with him was not worth his time at that point in time. The idiot turned around, walked out the door, and that was like the last time I think he and I ever saw each other. Well, I know it was the last time we saw each other. So here's my point. Now, this guy is in the business of putting on seminars and putting masterminds. In that business, one of the critical things you live with are testimonials from your past clients. Now, did he know back then that I would become as big as I've become in this industry, as known as I've become, as somewhat influential as I've become? He had no idea. But he made a decision at that point, and a decision that literally, no question in my mind, probably cost him an inordinate amount of money. Because I'm one of those guys that if I would have gone through his mastermind, and I would have gotten anything out of it, there's no question I would have been singing his praises. He could have me right on the front page of his website. I'd give him video testimonials, whatever it is, and all that. I think you get the point. He made a very drastic decision, well, it was a big decision. He didn't realize it was then, but it's a decision that has drastically affected his income based upon I wasn't as big back then as the other people he was talking to. So here's how this relates to what I want to share with you today. Every one of you is coming across those individuals. Some could be more influential, more helpful, some could be less. For instance, you may have a couple agents working for you. One agent is out there providing you 80, 90, 95% of all your deals. But you got these other couple agents that are doing whatever they're have to do to try to get you maybe one deal here, one deal there. My suggestion is you make sure you treat these ones and twosies just as well. You may have a couple contractors out there, and you got your main contractor that's doing 90% of your work, but you got a couple of other ones, maybe just one other one that's living and breathing this business, that's staying up late at night to make sure how to cut his costs, that's doing whatever they got to do to earn your business. And when they do get your business, they do a very, very good job. My suggestion is you stay very, very focused on the stuff, on this individual. So my point is this: we all have people like that. Some have a bigger impact, financial impact in our lives. Some have a smaller impact on our lives. I will tell you this because of what I saw there happen to me and many other circumstances that I could give you examples of. Don't ever, ever, ever cut your bridges with these people. Don't ever, ever, ever treat these people from a lower standpoint, less important standpoint. See, personally, I'm just as excited if one realtor brings me one deal every once in a while as opposed to one realtor bringing me a ton of deals almost all the time. Now, of course, they're going to have a bigger financial impact, but I promise you, this realtor that's giving me one deal every once in a while, just here and there, they feel just as good about my relationship with them as this one that's giving me maybe 30, 40 deals. So be very, very cautious of how you treat people. Treat them the same way, because you never know how the little guy can one day become the big guy. I hope that helps. Hey, Peter Vekselman. So today I want to talk to you about a topic that I'm sure you've been through before. If you're in this business, you may be going through it right now. And if you haven't been through it or going through it right now, I'm sure you will be. And that is this: when do you cut cords with an individual in this business? So let me give you an example. The deal we're actually closing on today, it's not a huge deal. I think I'm making about $6,000 or $7,000 on it. But literally, before I did this video, I counted how many emails, this is a buyer, but this is how many emails this buyer of this deal sent my office. I actually did a little research on it. On this little deal, there were over 30 different requests this buyer that's buying a property of mine had as it relates specifically to this deal. Now look, there are some reasonable things that buyers and sellers want, right? Could be some information, could be some logical question, could be just a timeline question or anything like that. But as I looked at these emails earlier today, every single one of those emails had a totally out of bounds kind of request. Bottom line is it drove my office, and my office handled all the requests because we know our marching orders here. My people know that it's get the deal done at any cost. But see, now it is my responsibility as the leader of this organization, because my people won't cut this. They know that Pete needs to get deals closed. But it is now my responsibility as the leader and as the owner of this organization to get rid of this buyer. And that's exactly what the email I sent. This is the last time such and such person is going to buy any deals from us. So when do you get rid of a person? When your resources are being drained, when your time is being drained, when unnecessary stress is being put on our organization. Or it doesn't even have to be you if you're a one-person show. It could be on anyone in your organization. This had nothing to do with me. This had to do with people in our organization. But it is my responsibility to look out for people in my organization. So this could happen in variety of things. You may have a contractor that's totally taken advantage of you. May not be financially, but again, it could be from a stress, resources, timeline, or anything like that. You may have a closing agent that's putting you in a back burner every single time, and it's not the way you need to be treated. You know, you may have a money person that can't give you a straight yes or no to literally 24 hours before closing, and that puts an unnecessary amount of pressure and undue stress on you. You don't need to be with that person. You may have an agent that's totally taken advantage of your relationship, both on a sale and the buy side. Pretty much in any matter as it relates to working with people in this business, you may have people that you need to get rid of. Again, this is how I judge it. Does it put stress, undue pressure? Does it drain your resources? Does it drain time out of you or your organization? If you're involved in any of those things with people in your world, or maybe even multiple of those things are taking place, those people you need to get rid of. Look out, draw out your organization, and see maybe where to call, where that person, when that individual is. My suggestion, you act quick and swiftly and get rid of that individual. Hi, Peter Vekselman. So today I want to talk to you about what I would do if I was just starting out brand new and my model was wholesaling. You know, what I would do, where would I focus on, where would I maybe spend money on, where I would not spend money on, and what I would be doing on a daily basis. So in a wholesaling model, as most of us know, it really consists of two parts. You got the acquisition side, finding the deals, marketing, you know, getting inventory coming your way, and you got the sales side, you know, the flipping, the wholesaling side, moving it to other investors, moving your contracts there, either making an assignment fee, maybe doing a double close. So where would I spend an overwhelming amount of my time as it relates to this business? See, if you think about it, on both of these sides, you could be potentially spending some money, you could be potentially doing some free things. There's no question in my mind, if I was just getting started, I would spend almost, and let's say I didn't have a lot of money. You know, a lot of people, that's why they start in the wholesaling side, is because they don't have a lot of money. If I'm just getting started and I don't have a lot of money to spend, what I'm doing is on the acquisition side, I'm going to spend no money on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect with all the local wholesalers in town. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting deals with them in terms of getting inventory. Because remember, that's what wholesalers do. They already are spending time. They already are spending effort. They already are spending money on marketing. That is their key. You know, they're putting deals together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach every single wholesaler I know. How do you find these guys? They're all over the place. Go to your local RIA meetings, talk to some real estate agents that work with investors, kind of the larger wholesalers it's easy to find. I would take them out for a drink, maybe to lunch, for breakfast, and I would just tell them, look, this is going to be my objective. I want to take your inventory, and I'm going to be spending an inordinate amount of time on the back end developing investor relationships, and I want to help you move your inventory. What kind of deal can we do? And usually, if it's somebody who's a very savvy wholesaler, all the way to a brand new wholesaler, that split that you could usually negotiate with them will differ. All the way from maybe on a low end with the big wholesalers, they might only be willing to pay you maybe $1,000, $2,000, to sometimes you could even work out deals where you're making 50% of the profit. Bottom line is, don't worry about it. The point is to start getting deals done and start getting some money coming in. So on the acquisition side, there's no question. The easiest way, and the other thing is, remember, it's ongoing inventory. You don't have to spend your money or time or effort finding new deal and a new deal, because remember, that does take effort, it takes potentially money, it takes time and all that. If you got wholesalers, that's like ongoing, consistent, predictable inventory on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, where I would spend an inordinate amount of my time developing the investor in relationships. That's all I would do, morning, noon, at night. I would be networking with them. I would be building relationships with them. I would be doing a lot of social media to find them. This is where I would focus my time. The inventory is going to come here. That's a done deal. You get hooked up with 4 or 5 decent wholesalers, you're going to get more inventory than you could probably handle. Where you need to be, where I would be spending my time if I was brand new, I would spend 90 to 95% of my time on the back end developing investor relationships. Matter of fact, when I got started in this business, that's almost what I did. Before I got into the acquisition side of the deals, I spent an inordinate amount of time developing investor relationships. The inventory was always coming in. It was a done deal. Never had to lose even a minute of sleep over it. I knew the next day I'd have another wholesaler email me something, and that's all I did, is I build my relationships with the back-end investors, and then all I did is you start marrying the two, start putting the two together, and that's how you make money. So if you were getting started, if I was getting started, and if you are getting started, you got the acquisition side, you got the disposition side. No question in my mind. Spend an inordinate amount of time on the disposition side, develop some relationships for the acquisition side. So today I want to talk to you about what happens in all of our lives when things aren't, let's say, to the standard we want them to be, or potentially are actually below the standard that we want them to be. Like, for instance, think about this. If you're an individual that goes to the gym, I go to the gym on a daily basis. Why do you go to the gym? Think about this. What happens if your car breaks? You're going to take it to a mechanic, right? Think about it. Why do people, millions upon millions of us have been to colleges to get better educated? So the bottom line is this: there's so many things all of us do in our lives to better ourselves or to better those things or people around us. Again, we go to the gym to better our bodies, to feel better, to be in better health. When something breaks, whether it's a car, a mechanical thing, even a vacuum cleaner, immediately you're taking it somewhere if you need it fixed. So you're bringing outside help in. Again, that's why people go to colleges and universities and why our kids go to schools all over the United States. But here's the question that I want to pose to you. If you're not getting the results that you want to get in the real estate business, what are you doing about it? See, so many times I see people literally floundering in this business. For instance, what are you doing? Let's say you're an individual that's doing pretty good on lead generation, but you're not converting those leads into deals. The question is, what are you doing to better yourself on being a better negotiator? Let's say you're an individual that's right now working with several different agents, and none of those agents are worth anything. They're not even bringing you deals. They're not selling any of your deals and all this. What are you doing to better yourself to understand how to better work with agents? You could say same thing about contractors. Let's say the last 5 renovations that you've done, the contractors did subpar work. You may have actually used multiple contractors. What are you doing to better understand and learn how to function in that environment and how to work with the right contractors? Every step of the way in this business, you can ask yourself the question, what are you doing to better yourself? Now look, we all know what you could do. There's the traditional things. I think every individual listening to this, and I have them myself, you got to have a coach, you got to have a mentor, you have to have people whose shoulders that you could stand on in this business. It's probably, in my opinion, the quickest way to grow. The other thing you could possibly do is you could hire certain things out. Let's go back to that example of negotiations. Let's say you truly are not a good negotiator, and let's say you've tried to better yourself. Let's say you've gone to some sales trainings, some trainings in the real estate business, maybe even outside industries to help you better negotiate. And let's say you just cannot negotiate the right kind of deals. Maybe you don't have the skill set, the personality. You could hire somebody to do that. You could bring in a skilled negotiator. So my point is this: think about your life. Anytime something breaks, anytime something doesn't function, you go outside of yourself and you try to make it work better. You go into an environment where you could fix it, you take it to people that could do a better job with it. Are you doing the same thing in your real estate business? If you're floundering around and you're not getting results, my contention is you are not. You are not doing things, whether you yourself are going to outside individuals or outside entities that could help you do that. But everything in this business that may not be working for you, this is the real good news. Everything in this business that may not be working for you is fixable. Whether you could fix it yourself through outside people's help, or you could bring outside people in to help you fill the void. That's how you grow in this business.